We leave something of ourselves behind when we leave a place. We stay there, even though we go away. And there are things in us that we will never find again unless we go back there. This is this place for me. Today we're on the far northwest coast of Tasmania, one of our favourite spots. Today we visited Arthur River, Sarah Ann, Nelson Bay and Couta Rocks. This is part of the Arthur Pymon Conservation Area that's managed by Tasmanian Parks and Wildlife. When we were growing up as kids, both of us spent a lot of time down in this area with our families, along the coastline. Little did we know that at the time though, that we was both doing the same thing with different people. And here we are now getting to enjoy it together. So what else would we be doing on a wild and wet Sunday? So come along with me, Janelle and Lionel, and have a snoop around our favourite place together. Lionel was less than 1 week old when he first came to Couta Rocks to stay at the family shack. There's probably only about 15 residential buildings down here at Couta Rocks, and the amount that live here you can count on one hand. So the majority of the people that actually own the buildings down here come down for holidays and getaways with their families, and just time to relax. It's beautiful down here. Lionel's family shack used to be one of the fishing factories here at Couta Rocks, and now it's a shack for the family to use. The little seaside town of Couta Rocks is well known for its fishing, for its crayfish, for its abs, and general seafood. It's beautiful. I feel pretty spoilt and privileged when I come down here because one of our dear friends is a crayfisherman, so he actually keeps us going on crays when we're down here, which is awesome. He gives us some of the freshest flake ever straight off the boat. This guy's always ready and willing to give a hand to anybody that needs it in the area. In January of 2016, bushfires ravaged the Arthur Pymon Conservation Area. There was a lot of shacks that were threatened and homes. And here you can see Couta Rocks and how close it actually come to the shacks. We get to come down here to holiday. Some people live down here. So to have bushfires threaten their homes would have been pretty scary. There was so many people that put their lives on the line and put themselves out to help fight these fires, and they're very much appreciated. It would have been damn scary for them, and a lot of them, they wouldn't have known what was happening with their homes and shacks at the time. Today it was absolutely pouring. No chance of bushfires today. A lot of our waterways, our creeks and our rivers here in Tasmania have this dark brown colour, and that's because of the tannin that's actually in the water. Tannin actually comes from the peat or the soil in our ground that grows a lot of our button grass and our tea trees and our other shrubs. And this leaks into our waterways and causes this dark brown colour. It looks pretty effective when it's flowing like it is here today, and the colours for the photos. Mind you, if you actually get stuck in one of our bog holes down here that's filled with tannin water and our grey soil, it is the worst smelling bog you can imagine. Some of the four-wheel drive shows actually comment on that when they come to Tasmania, how bad it stinks. Oh, well, I suppose they go back with memories of Tasmania. The roads into these areas are so much better than what they were when we was kids. I remember thinking when we'd leave home that it was going to take days for us to get to the shack. And our family shack was actually down further past Tema, but it used to take such a long time. The roads are so very different now. I remember they were gravel from the cattle grid at Marrawah. And we'd come in on the gravel road and we'd get to Arthur River and we'd kind of feel like we was nearly there. And it was gravel road all the way into Tema. And then from Tema, we'd offload all our stuff into the buggies and go on the Sandy Cape track into my family's shack. Now it's sealed all the way from Marrawah right into Couta Rocks intersection. I remember going fishing in these rivers as a kid, and we used to catch little tiddlywinks, and they were no longer than probably a couple of inches long, but we were so excited as kids to catch them. It's interesting though, as you grow up and you realise what your family called different things. So we used to call them little tiddlywink fish, and Lionel said that his family called them little mountain trout or little tiddlies. But yeah, it's interesting what we actually put our own spin and our own names on things growing up. We had to slow down for one of the locals crossing the road. We've just had some extremely wild weather here in Tassie, and we had storms and we had, I think, 41,000 people without power over the last week. I must say we was pretty surprised at how clean the beaches were and that there wasn't a whole lot of timber on the beaches, because at different times we've seen these beaches pretty much chock-a-block with a lot of logs sitting on them. Mind you, the tides have been pretty high because a lot of the access tracks to the beach were blocked or covered in. Right at the river mouth at Arthur River, there's a little place that we call Edge of the World. And if you decided to get off the point at Edge of the World and swim west, the first place you'd reach is Argentina. There's no landmass between us and them. Here you get to see where the tannin water from the Arthur River was trying to mix with the salt water from the sea. hard to appreciate in this video how windy it was this day. We was a little bit surprised though, because normally these rocks are absolutely covered with logs that have actually drifted in. But because of the wild storms that we've had recently, a lot of them had been swept off back into sea. Edge of the world, northwest Tasmania. I cast my shore of eternity, to be washed by the ocean of time. It has shape, form and substance. It is me. One day I will be no more, but my pebble will remain here, on the shore of eternity, mute witness for the eons, that today I came, and I stood at the edge of the world. This is the boat ramp at the Arthur River. Also used to be the same location as the old punt used to go across. And I believe the punt was replaced by a bridge in 1968. This was the only way that you get from one side of the river to the other side. This bridge has been resurfaced from what it was many years ago, which just had the timber boards on the bridge. And as they got older, they'd flick up and you'd feel them move, and when you walked across it, you'd look at them and think, this just really doesn't feel safe. Even now, as we cross it, the rivets are exposed, so it's still a noisy, clunky bridge. My daughter was never a fan of this bridge. It always felt unsafe for her. Even on a bad day, this place is amazing. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the scientific name for these. We just know them as bluebottles. Marrawah is a really well-known spot for surfers, and they hold major surfing comps here. It's a big event for this area. This is only our second video. I've got to say, this is all very weird and new to us, but I hope you're enjoying our videos. And apparently I've got to say, if you do, please hit the like button and subscribe. Bear with us, surely we'll improve. Well, hopefully.